Here's an example of a sophisticated response by a student to this single historical source from 1965, a letter from a member of the public to their President of the United States, Lyndon Baines Johnson, relating to his Great Society program. You'd be familiar with this if you've studied the 1960s, if you've studied the civil rights topic. Let's look at how the student has responded to the topic. We're looking for evidence that the student is referring to ways to describe the source in order to analyze it. So we begin this letter from a supporter, all right, in just a few words has described the origin to President Johnson. There we have the audience. In 1965, there we have the date, was intended to paint the president in a positive light. So if we talk about the intention of a source, we're clearly talking about the motive. So painting the president in a positive light, we've referred to motive here, and implies that his efforts in implementing Great Society programs have been very successful. The source is reliable as a sense of what certain individuals felt at the time of LBJ's presidency. Right, because the question is how reliable and useful is the source as evidence of public support, we need to begin answering the question quite early on. And it's saying that it's reliable as a sense of what certain individuals felt. So we know it's a reliable source of opinion, not necessarily of fact, although there's facts referred to in the letter as well, at the time of LBJ's presidency. As a primary source, its tone accurately conveys the contentment that the individual felt towards Great Society programs. If we're talking about a tone of contentment, a bit of an unusual phrase, but it nonetheless shows that the tone of the source is what helps make it useful. There is evidently a bias towards LBJ's policy, so we're talking about a limitation of the source now in terms of its bias, which brings into question the reliability of the letter as a source of facts. So it's not necessarily a source of facts because it's a source of opinion. However, the letter is still useful as a measure of the positive impact Johnson's policies were having in the opinion of citizens like the author. Again, a reference to opinion. It is necessary to examine other documents. Right, this second O of the bootlace mnemonic, other documents in conjunction with this in order to understand whether others felt the same way or if in fact the Great Society impacted any groups negatively. So this is a really thorough response. We have origin, audience, date and motive covered in the very first sentence. Then we refer to opinion, tone, bias, opinion, and other sources, meaning this student's done a really thorough job and in this sense probably earns, well, maybe 9 out of 10 for it. Good response.